immigrants who have committed crimes on U.S. soil, including some behind more than 200 murders.
You have somebody who commits homicide? Yes, we want them deported. That's the law.
Then put it in the statute, sir.
There's a whole list of categories there that are harm to public safety, including those that commit homicide, that you went ahead and released anyway. And so that law is crystal clear. You are making these discretionary choices in releasing these people out into the public, and they're committing more crimes. And I don't understand why you don't deport them.
To sit there and say that the proud women and men of law enforcement and ICE are choosing to release criminals is absolutely unforgivable. I am very proud of representing those men and women. Many of them are former police officers, sheriff's department members, and they do not go around trying to put criminals on the streets.
House Oversight and Government Reform Committee Chairman who led today's hearing, Congressman Jason Chaffetz, goes on the record. Good evening, sir.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Okay, so there are some people who are released who are criminals, right? From prison. They're in prison because they're criminals.
More than 86,000 of them over a 3-year period.
Okay. Who makes the decision to release them? Because, I mean, and how do they pick and choose?
Well, it seems to be random, but everything from homicide to DUIs to assault to sexual battery to, I mean, you name the violent crime, they have released them back out in the public rather than either detaining them or, even better yet, deporting them. Remember,
are these people who have been arrested for these crimes and have gotten sentences?
They're here illegally. They committed a crime. They were convicted of that crime. They either served that time or they just released them back out in the public instead of actually saying, now that you've served your sentence, your debt to the United States, we're going to send you back to the country from which you came. They don't do that.
Why don't they do that?
It's ridiculous. There's no acceptable answer. They tried to reprogram over $100 million that Congress had allocated for these deportations. They wanted to give that money back rather than do it. There's a minimum of 34,000 beds for these types of people, yet the department only wants to house about 30,000. And what they've done is they've released them out into the streets. More than 200 of those people that were in our detention that had committed a crime were released back out in the public and committed homicide.
Well, I mean, when somebody obviously makes a decision, okay, we're going to release you, and we're going to release you to the street, we're not going to deport. Who does that?
The Department of Homeland Security.
Okay, who is that? Is that like one person who's got the job, some nameless, faceless bureaucrat in the government who gets to make that decision? You
look at Jay Johnson, who's the secretary, then you look at the director of, who's with us today, who's the director of Immigration and Customs Enforcement, and they're not doing it. Some of them get deported, but when you release 86,000 people over 3 years into the public that had already committed crimes,
but all you have to do is look at their crimes. I mean, if they're felonies, I mean, if you've like stolen a pack of gum from the grocery store, that's very different. But if you've been convicted of murder, that's different.
More than 12,000 of these were DUIs. And I think that's a very serious crime. I agree. But everything from sexual assault to robbery to homicide.
How many were released in 2015?
Well, the 86,000, it represents 3 years, so basically divided by 3. I mean, not even one is acceptable. And we heard witnesses today whose family members were killed. And how do you look those people in the eye? I mean, they should be out of the country. One of the excuses is, well, those countries won't take them back.
Just drop them off.
Don't give them any more foreign aid, and do what the law says, and that is make sure the Secretary of State does not give those countries any more visas so more people can come to this country. Get their attention.
Mr. Chairman, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Greta.
And remember the infamous Menendez